What's up, y'all? It's TruthTiger, and I'm going to talk about how these apartments are sleazy and sneaky. These landlords are sleazy and sneaky, and I've had to deal with so many horror stories in apartments I've lived in, and just so much silly BS. I mean, for one, I remember one I was in a couple years back. They offered me, I think it was 4 weeks free, a free month or something like that. I'm there a couple months. I'm like, where's my free month? And they're like, whoops, we forgot. I'm like, it's kind of a convenient thing to forget and to omit. And at that same apartment, they didn't do anything with my move out, and I'm like, who do I give my keys to? Like, still have my keys. Do you guys want that back? I assume you probably do. You know, they didn't send me my deposit back. And I think because they like just dropped the ball so bad, they sent me back my full deposit, which they almost never do. They try to take as much of the deposit away from you. So I know that was actual incompetence and not like purposeful incompetence. What I'm dealing with now at my apartment, I'm trying to move out to a new apartment to get a better deal, because you know, when your lease ends at the end of the year, they jack up your rent as much as possible. They try to add like $200 more a month to your rent, and it's just like, yo, like, they know moving is a pain. They know finding a new place is a pain. They know you're gonna have to pay a new deposit and do all this new stuff. So they're like, just stay here, it'll be easier, you know? But it's like, I'm not gonna have them raise my rent by $200. You're gonna do that every year until what? You're there 5 years and your rent has gone up by $1,000. Like, it's pretty nuts, you know? It's pretty nuts. But what they did is, my lease ends on the 14th. So they just charged me for the full month like I was gonna re-sign, and I had auto payment on. So, you know, it's like $1,400 that, you know, they've charged me for that I shouldn't have been charged for. I told the guy about it. It's a nice guy, cool guy, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, like, we'll just refund it. But what they did is they gave me a rent credit toward next month's rent. And I'm like, I'm moving out. I can't use this for anything. And I'm like talking to them, like, we'll send you a check, da-da-da-da-da. And had I not noticed this, you know, they would have just let it roll. And the thing about this is, like, I think this is a accidentally on purpose mistake, a purposeful mistake, which favors them, because a lot of people, they could be moving across the country. They could be moving across the world to some other country. They could have bought a house and they have a kid and this and that. And then, you know, that $1,500 or whatever just kind of falls by the wayside, and it's a couple weeks till they notice it, and they got this other stuff they got to do, and then before you know it, it's a whole rigmarole, and you got to call them and talk to them and whatever, you know. So I think they're just kind of hoping like 10% of people won't even pursue it, so they could just steal their money, you know, because it's like, when that charge went through, they didn't hit me up and were like, oh my gosh, we overcharged you, let me set this right. I had to be the one to be like, wait a minute. And then I had to be the one like, wait a minute again, your refund doesn't work for me. And it's this big oops thing. And the guy, I mean, whatever, nice guy. I don't really want to blame him too much, but he asked me to like write this 5-star review, and I told him he was moving out, and he'd been cool with me about stuff with other stuff. So I was like, all right. But then I found this thing out, and I'm like, nah, that 5-star is now a 1-star, because this is just going to be a pain. I don't want other people to move in and to have to deal with this. It's like really unprofessional. And it's this mistake that favors you. It's just not that favors you. It's a mistake that favors them every time. And I've heard so many stories about they offer you free rent and they forget to do it. And, you know, oh my gosh, my biggest apartment nightmare was a place I lived at about 2 years ago. And that place, man, like when it came to the move-in, they didn't even communicate with me. They wouldn't answer my calls, wouldn't answer my emails, and I already signed the lease. And I was like, so is this deal done or not? And they're like, they just like wouldn't say anything. And then finally someone got in touch with me, and it was just like everything they could do to make it as stressful as possible. And I remember they tried charging me like a $25 a month fee because I didn't have renter's insurance, but I actually did. And conveniently they messed up the paperwork and lost the paperwork to charge me. I'm emailing them about it. They won't even respond. Literally, so I'm having to send them like 10, 20 emails, like just spamming them with emails, just like emailing them hard until they finally like decided to adjust it and fix it. Be like, oh, we actually do have your paperwork. Oops. And then when I moved out, I was cleaning the place out, and I looked under the toilet, and there was black mold growing there. I was so pissed off. I was so upset. I don't really know what I could do about it. I was just like, I'm just going to leave. I don't really have the energy to, like, fight this. But it's like, man, these apartments, these landlords are so sketchy, man. And, like, your house is such an important thing. Like, everyone needs a place to live, and they know that. So they just act all weird about it and try to screw you over with stuff. And, man, it's just so nuts. And I feel like it wasn't like this back in the day. I feel like back in the day, people did good business and were more trustworthy and tried to help people and tried to work with people and tried to make things right. Whereas now it's like they try to screw you over, and then it's up to you to, like, push back and be like, no, that's not it. And you got to push back again, and you got to be like, what's this? What's going on? You know, and I mean, they're just dishonest. They're dishonest. They're thieves. They charge way too much. I've heard stories about like apartments colluding together to like get the rent as high as possible. Like, man, the rent is just so high. It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and you know, nothing's being done about it. It's like back in the day, you could afford an apartment. It wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. You get a decent apartment for like $1,000 or whatever. Now it's gonna be like definitely over $2,000, like $2,500 or something for a decent one. And it's just like, dude, like the rent is too damn high. Remember that guy who ran for president? And he said that, and it's like, it's true. It's like, the rent is so high, nobody does anything. The politicians say they're going to fix it, but they don't do nothing, you know? And it's just like, there's no solution. And I don't know, like, this is getting to a point where it's like, it's just getting worse and worse. And if you read the reviews on any apartment, you'll hear so many people complaining about sketchy stuff they're dealing with, weird unexplained charges, not getting their deposit back when they leave. Like, it's just like, yo, like, these people are thieves, man. They don't do good, fair business at all. And you really got to hold them to it for them to be fair or normal or like good about stuff at all. And if you're that angry squeaky wheel who's gonna like trip out, then they'll like give you your deposit back and be cool and won't screw with you. But if not, they'll just try to steal your money and mess you over. And I've had to deal with this just so much. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, I remember getting a little place when I was younger. I didn't have to deal with all this. It wasn't like that. But I guess as time passes, the morals and ethics go down. The landlords become more shisty and sleazy and sketchy. They want to cut more corners to make more money, and they want to do these sneaky, sleazy things to get ahead. And it's just like, my gosh, you know, what happened to doing good, honest, fair business? You know, good, honest, fair business where you try to treat your customers right, treat your people right, do what you say you're going to do, give them a fair price. But no, they're just trying to like steal as much money as they can. And like they're just trying to steal the bag as much as possible. It's just like, oh my gosh. You know, now they got these smart locks and stuff, so you got to use an app to open your door. And I had one of those places like that. Wasn't a fan of that. Was not a fan of that at all. And it's just like, this isn't going to lead to anything good. Soon, like, nobody's going to really even have a place they can live at. And it used to be like, you know, like rent would be like a quarter or like a third of your salary. Now it's like half the money you make. More than that is going to go to your rent because they just keep jacking up the prices. Like, they just don't stop. And it's just like, holy gosh, can like the little guy get a break? Can like an average working class person just get a break? Just get one break for once. Just get a decent price on something that's not insanely overpriced. And they keep getting smaller and smaller, these apartments too. Like, I had a micro studio I stayed in, 250 square feet. They're just making them smaller and smaller and more expensive and more expensive. And, you know, they've definitely colluded together to do this. You know, there's no doubt about that. Because if they don't collude, there's going to be competition and someone's going to undercut them and stuff. But they've colluded together, raised the prices like crazy. And it's like, there's so many apartment buildings. They're always building them. There's no shortage of units. There's no shortage of apartments. It's like, it's not like, you could look, there's always going to be apartments available in your area. It's not like it's like, oh my gosh, there's like 2 or 3 of them left. It's such a hot commodity. Like, there's tons of them. They're building them like crazy. They're just trying to artificially get the prices as high as they possibly can so they can just line their pockets, you know, for real. And it's just like this kind of greed is just like, it's just upsetting, you know. It's upsetting, and like, we the people shouldn't be taking this. We the people shouldn't be putting up with this crap. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm blocking the street here. Yeah, there's a red light here. I thought I could go all the way through, but I just hit a wall of traffic. Cars are having to go around me. My fault here. But man, it's just like with these apartments, it's just like they're just not just the apartments, the groceries, everything. They're just trying to hose us as much as possible. And like, if you work a normal job, it's like you can't even afford anything. It's like if you're someone who works at a grocery store, like how can you even have like a place to live? It's really crazy. It really is. And it seems like 10, 20 years ago it wasn't like this, but it's just like progressed so fast, and it's just gotten worse and worse so fast, and I'm just really getting sick of it. I'm getting sick and tired of having to pay out the nose for a tiny apartment. I am, you know, and I'm getting sick and tired of their shiesty tricks and their little schemes and their games, and how I got to wrestle with them, and like how they're trying to like just get as much money as possible. Like with this charge where they charged me for the full month despite me not re-signing my lease, it's like they're just like going and grabbing money they're not even entitled to, and then I gotta fight with them to get it back. And then it's this rigmarole of, oh, we'll send you this check to your new place, and I'm like, yo, I need this money now, you overcharged me. And it's like, I try to be nice about it, but at some point you don't want to crash out or go crazy, but at some point you gotta be like, hey, this is dishonest, this is immoral, this is unethical, this is greedy, this is evil. And you know, more of us need to start saying this and speaking up about this and pushing on this. And the thing is, the government will try to make some program or, you know, whatever. I mean, the government's like, oh, we're gonna help, we're gonna make a few rent controlled units that are gonna be really cheap, but most of them aren't gonna be that way, and then some people are gonna just jump on those and never move out. And that's what happens when you have that, you know. I don't know what we need to do, but I think there needs to be some sort of fine for overcharging, like some sort of heavy, like you paying $1,000 fine if you overcharge a tenant for rent, you know, something like that. So at least these sneaky charges and this sketchy stuff can't happen, you know, because it's like, I just want to pay the agreed upon price, but you know, they're always trying to like find some little way to nickel and dime you and get some more money out of you. Another thing is parking, man. Like, the place I'm at now, they charge me like $160 for parking. It's like, yo, like, they just really nickel and dime on the parking, trying to make that as expensive as possible. And it's just like, they're just trying to suck the money out of your pockets. And it's like, well, they can make plenty of money, plenty of profit, and still give a fair price and not like hose you on parking. And it's just, it's really upsetting. It's upsetting. It's annoying. It's obnoxious, and it's on my mind, and I want to rant about it. I want to talk about it. I want to speak on it. I got to go back there now and catch the leasing office and, you know, make sure these extra charges are fully square, and then it's not going to be some 2-week check in the mail. Then I'm going to get my money back like now, you know. So, yeah, but it really is crazy with these apartments, and they're making it so unaffordable to where like a lot of people are going to go homeless and have to live in their car and have to live in a tent by the side of the street just because of their greed, because they're just jacking up the prices up and up and up and up and up. And it's crazy, you know. And the thing is, what the government will do, especially in a liberal area, they'll like make some law where it's really hard to evict someone. So like, if you got some guy who's like, you know, got a meth lab, it's going to take you 90 days, and these court orders and these lawyers to get him out. So they're going to like try to like help some criminal or like some obviously bad person out as much as possible. But for the common person that just wants a lower price, they're going to do nothing. They're going to do absolutely nothing. But for someone that wants to be an SHIT head and not pay their rent and be a crappy tenant, they're going to be like, well, you're going to go to the eviction court and it's going to be impossible to evict him, you know? And so it's like, all right, you're just going to enable someone who's shitty, but the people who want to be honest and pay their rent, you're going to do nothing to help us. Like, thanks, government. Thank you so much, you know? They're going to make some programs that are hard to access, and man, it's just ridiculous. It's craziness. It's nuts, and you know, it's not acceptable. It's not cool. It's not acceptable. And I'm sure so many people I know have apartment horror stories about charges they're not supposed to be charged for, you know, claiming that they did damages to the place they didn't do, whatever. Like, so much stuff, man. So, yeah, I'm going to end this video here, but I got to get this off my chest. I need to rant about this a bit because it's been bothering me. So, thank you all so much for watching. Much love, God bless, and I will see you all next time.